Vayehi kevo Avram Mitzrayma vayir'u hamitzrayim et ha'isha ki yafa hi me'od. Vayir'u ota sarei par'o vayhalalu ota el par'o vatukach ha'isha beit par'o. Ul Avram heitiv ba'avura vahilo tzon uvakar vachamorim va'avadim ushfachot va'atonot ugmalim. Okay, so Vaihi is translated as "and it came to pass." Literally, Yehi is he will be, okay, and then with the vav it reverses the tense, so it's it was, okay, but because we're talking about an incident, not a person, in English we would call it instead of he, okay. So and it came to pass. Kevo, ke is when, and vo is he came. Avram, that's Abraham before he was renamed. And then we have Mitzrayma. Mitzrayma means toward Egypt. Mitzrayim is Egypt, or it means straits. The name Egypt, Mitzrayim, in the Hebrew, it means straits. Two straits, because, well, some people say it's because Egypt was in between two rivers, and others say it's because Egypt was a place of constriction. Is that the right word? Yeah, constriction, a place of slavery, bondage. It was constricting to the Israelites, right? And then this part right here in Mitzrayma, the part right here means toward. So Mitzrayma is toward Egypt. If you say habaita is, it means towards the house. Okay. Then we have Vayir'u, which means and they saw. Va part means and the Yud right here makes it third person, and then the U part at the end makes it plural. Okay, and they saw. And this root right here is to see. Then we have Hamitzrim, sorry. Hamitzrim, that means the Egyptians. Okay. Et, Ha'isha. Et is just a direct object pointer. Ha'isha means the wife. Ha is the, Isha is wife or woman. Ki, here's that, can also mean because or for. Yafa means beautiful for a woman. Okay. And then we also have Yafeh. Yafa is beautiful for a woman. He means she. Who means he, but he means she. Okay. And me'od means very much. Okay, then we have here Vayir'u, which means and they saw. Let me see. There's here, it's the same as this, right? And they saw. I forgot to put and. The va part means and. Okay, so it's the same word here. Vayir'u, and they saw. Otah. Otah, the aleph on top here is et. Just like we had here. Et right here. It's a direct object pointer with the suffix hey right here. This hey part means her or she. Okay, so her, this hey part means her. Okay, so when they saw her, otah, and because it has a mapik in the hey, you should really pronounce the okay, otah, okay, as opposed to otah. Okay, and then we have sareh. Now, sareh means officers of. It's sometimes translated as princes of, but In English today, prince means a son of a king. And even in Old English, but especially in the Hebrew, this word does not mean son of a king. It means officers. It's part of the royal, you know, the royal company. It's a leader, okay, officer. Sare, officers of, it's plural, sare. Sarim would be officers. Sare is officers of. And then we have Faro. Faro is Pharaoh. And then we have Vai Halalu. And this is related, of course, to Hallel or Hallelujah. The root right here, Halal, is praise, right? Va is and. The Yud here makes it third person, he. With the U here, it becomes plural, they. Just like here. The Yud here makes it third person, and then the U here makes it plural, they. Okay, same as here. This makes it third person, he, and this U makes it they, plural. Vayhalalu. And they praised Otah, that means her again. El means to, and Paro, and this means Pharaoh again. And notice here it's Pharaoh with like a F sound, and here it's Paro with like a P sound. In Hebrew, that the tegesh does not necessarily change the meaning of a word. Okay, sometimes it's different simply for ease of pronunciation more than anything else. And then we have vatukach, which means and she was taken. Okay, and she was taken. Ha'isha means the wife. Ha is the. And then Beit Paro is house of Pharaoh. So she was taken to the house of Pharaoh. Oops, that's a mistake there. You can ignore that. So now, Ul Avram. U means and, Le means to, and Avram is the name, right? Ul Avram, and to Avram, Hetiv, which is translated as he benefited. Now, the root of here is the same as the root for Tov, as in Tov Me'od, meaning very good, right? Tov, good. So he brought goodness to Avram. Speaking about Pharaoh, right? He took his wife, which he didn't know it was his wife, but he thought it was his sister. So because he thought it was his sister, he was treating Avram very good. Ba'avurah, on account of her. Ba is on, avur is like account of, and then the hey right here at the end means her. Just like back here, otah, right? Otah, the hey I told you means her, right? It's the same thing here, ba'avurah. The hey means her. Vayhi, and it was, lo, to him. The lamed right here means to, and then the oh part right here means him. Okay, and this vayhi, it's similar to the first word of the first verse that we looked at. Okay, tson means flock, or flocks. Actually, I think there's only one word, whether it's flock or flocks. It's just son. Okay, uvakar, and this means and cattle. U means and the vakar means cattle. And this word also, there's only one word for singular and plural. Okay, as far as I know. Okay. Vachamorim, this means and donkeys, but this is specifically male donkeys. Vachamorim. Va'avadim, which means and servants, but specifically male servants. Okay. Ushfachot, which means maid servants or female servants. Okay. So there's a different word altogether for male and female servants. And then we have here va'atonot, which means she donkeys. So we have chamorim for he donkeys and atonot for she donkeys. And then we have ugmalim, which means camels or and camels, right? Gmalim is camels. Now, why there are different forms for male and female for certain things like donkeys and servants, but not for other things like flocks, cattle, and camels, I have no idea, but that's just how it is in Hebrew. And now I'd like to read the English version of the second Aliyah for Lech Lecha from Rabbi Aryeh Kaplan's The Living Torah. And the second Aliyah starts in Genesis chapter 12, verse 14. And then we're going to end with chapter 13, verse 4. Okay? When Avram came to Egypt, the Egyptians saw that his wife was very beautiful. Pharaoh's officials saw her and spoke highly of her to Pharaoh. The woman was taken to Pharaoh's palace. He treated Avram well because of her, and Avram thus acquired sheep, cattle, donkeys, male and female slaves, she-donkeys, and camel. God struck Pharaoh and his palace with severe plagues because of Avram's wife Sarai. Pharaoh summoned Avram and said, "How could you do this to me? Why didn't you tell me that she was your wife? Why did you say that she was your sister, so that I should take her to myself as a wife? Now here is your wife, take her and go." Pharaoh put men in charge of Avram, and they sent him on his way, along with his wife and all that was his. Avram headed northward to the Negev, along with his wife and all that was his, including Lot. Avram was very rich with livestock, silver, and gold. He continued on his travels from the Negev toward Bethel, until he came to the place where he originally had his tent, between Bet-El or Bethel and Ai, the site of the altar that he had built there at first. Avram called in God's name. So no sooner did Avram arrive in Canaan than a famine gripped the land. And Avraham did not complain. As a nomad, he had the luxury of relocating. He took his household and all his flocks and traveled down to Egypt to wait out the famine. Egypt enjoys the continuous water supply that flows down the Nile River. Now, interestingly enough, right now, as we speak, Ethiopia built a dam that basically cuts off 90% of Egypt's water supply. Okay, back to our story. Thanks to the Nile, Egypt is able to produce abundant crops, even when drought parches her neighbors. Abraham's wife Sarah was a beautiful woman. Comparing other beautiful women to Sarah was like comparing monkeys to a human being, according to the Babylonian Talmud. Her beauty reflected that of Eve, our first mother. Sarah's astonishing beauty made Avraham fearful for his life. He felt certain that if the Egyptians saw her, they would kill him and abduct her. And another reason why he felt this is because he knew the nature of the Egyptians. Okay, he understood what kind of people they were. He wasn't simply a coward or something like that. He knew that the character of the Egyptians would be that they would do something like that. They would have killed him. He made an arrangement with her, asking her to pose as his sister and conceal the fact that she was his wife. In fact, she was his stepsister, according to Genesis 20:12, in where he said, "She actually is my sister, the daughter of my father, but not the daughter of my mother, and she became my wife." The sages teach that Abraham went into Egypt to blaze the trail for his descendants. As stated above, the deeds of the fathers are portents for the sons. Abraham went down to Egypt to escape the famine. Pharaoh abducted his wife Sarah. God smote Pharaoh with plagues in order to deliver Abraham and Sarah. Abraham left with great wealth. Centuries later, the children of Abraham followed in their father's footsteps and lived the story out again. they went down into Egypt to escape a famine. The Pharaoh of Egypt at that time abducted and enslaved them, just like the Pharaoh abducted um, Sarah. God struck the Pharaoh and all the Egyptians with plagues on account of the Israelites, just like God struck Pharaoh's house on account of Sarah. So he struck the Egyptians with plagues in order to deliver his people. And then the Israelites left carrying the wealth of Egypt. Before the children could walk that path, the fathers had to break the way for them. So it's very interesting how, just the parallels between the story of Avraham and Sarah as compared to the story of the Israelites. I hope you enjoyed learning Hebrew and Torah with me. And this is a beautiful picture of the Holy Land taken in modern times. And remember, this is the land that Avraham left his house for on God's command. Thank you so much for learning Hebrew with me, and I hope you can visit my website and click on this button right here, sign up to my email list so I can email you the newest lessons on Hebrew, Torah, and Judaism. And also visit my website for holistic health and healing at www.aruka.com. I am an herbalist and health coach, and I believe that the creator of heaven and earth is also the great physician, and he can heal everything from sickness and disease to broken hearts and homes. If you go to my website and click on this button right here, it's going to take you to a form where you can download my free ebook right now, Intermittent Fasting Formula. Shalom.